Okay, go.
Okay. Have you seen the show, the Tim and Eric Awesome Show? Great
No,
time.
no, I've not.
It's this wonderful show that I feel like was running for a long time and is the source or like the inspiration for a lot of current internet art and meme art and also vaporwave. It's like a mixture of horror comedy and cringe comedy, and it's a bunch of skits, and it's kind of set up like this awful telethon with terrible graphics, and there's newscasters that can't say anything properly, and it just goes from scene to scene very nonsensically, and also is like very jarring in a lot of ways and like pretty disgusting. But I feel really inspired by it. I think that sort of comedy is more what we need. It's very surreal and absurd, but not offensive. Like, they do a really good job of like doing this show for years without ever going into being rude or offensive. And I think a lot of comedians, that's where they go because they want to be shocking. But like, it's like, what happened to poop jokes? You know, that's funny for everyone. That's not traumatizing.
True.
Yeah. So you can still go there. But that's what inspires me in film. I want to make something like that. They do a lot of like, it reminds me of like old PowerPoint presentations where you know how they would like transfer from slide to slide with the weird, like the gradient or whatever. Do you remember PowerPoint presentations?
Not really, because I never really spent much time in that world,
terrible.
but I'm vaguely familiar with it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to show you an episode and you'll get it.
Why I did that was that
Yeah.
when you're doing this interview thing, you try not to fill the spaces.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to you for real,
Yeah.
I fill the spaces. On video, when you're doing this, you don't.
Yeah.
So if you ever do this for more seriously, and you're getting someone to shoot for you, the shooter has to be wise enough not to fill the spaces,
Yeah.
because it's in the spaces where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Because you're the star. This is the key. You're the star, and so we're interested in knowing what you think. And so it's okay for there to be these lulls, because it works. And it's hard to explain it, but if you got a good videographer, they won't fill the spaces. Now that's not true sometimes, like when they edit, so they'll just go cut fast, and they'll like,
oh, I can't handle that. It drives
And-
me insane when it's like that in films.
you get a bird watching you.
Oh, hello. Did
It's
a
a-
little butt twitch at us.
It's a robin.
Just checking things out.
Yeah.
Yard.
So anyways, the spaces thing is really good, and I've just sort of learned that slowly over talking to people, is like, kind of just let people think and videotape them thinking. It's interesting to watch people think, because people will like say things that are very like profound if you just give them a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think sometimes I feel uncomfortable in front of, like, speaking on camera because it does feel like there's this pressure.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you can adopt several styles though. There's the vloggers who will literally, they'll do it one take and it'll be full of pauses,
Yeah.
and others will like try and chop it up, so it's just like chop chop chop, so it's just like cut, and it's like fast, and
It's very manicured feeling in that case.
yeah.
I mean, if someone does stumble a lot over their words, maybe they could chop it up a bit, but it feels, yeah, kind of like an infomercial, which maybe that's what you're going for.
But I thought though that from what I'm seeing, you seem fairly comfortable. Like, you seem like you didn't like I thought, I didn't know what you would do, but you seem like you have as much potential as anybody I know of.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you just did it lots. Now, mind you, when you see this footage, you might go, okay,
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna
get
watch
the
it.
blowtorch. We need to destroy this.
Well, I don't care if anyone else sees it. Like, that doesn't bug me because I feel like everyone can see the way I talk anyways. But for me, I have this idea in my head of what I look like and how I act, and I know that it will be shattered if I see enough videos of myself. Does that make sense? I'm not worried about other people seeing what I look like. They can already see that. I don't see it. I don't know, because I see myself in a mirror and I see myself photographed in my photographs. That, like, generally I'm modeling a specific part of myself. I'm not. They're like candids. I don't usually see candids of myself. So.
Well, I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
This dialogue you're having with yourself. I don't understand it completely.
Yeah.
But I don't need to. I respect it. And the most important thing, I want to follow this journey.
Okay.
As you try and explain this. Because if I was watching this like on a TV or YouTube, I'd be like, well, this chick is interesting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what she's going to do next, because this is like sort of a interesting viewpoint of life, you know?
Yeah. Pretty complex.
Yeah, and that, to tell you the truth, for dating, if you told a guy I'm pretty complex, the guy'd be like, red flag.
Yeah.
But for YouTube or for an actor, like some of the best actors are the most complex people, and it works because that translates well in the context of telling stories. And like, you know, it's like you're a mother, a loving mother of 3 beautiful children, but you're also a professional assassin.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting. And
That's
that's kind of like what we want to watch. But if you're just a wonderful mother and that's it,
I guess you could show people your wonderful mothering. Some people are down for that. Like if someone never had a mom, maybe they'd want to watch that. No, actually they wouldn't. Make them feel like the total lack in their life.
yeah, so the fact that you're complex, yeah, I would say go to town on that. Milk the crap out of that. Like, don't try maybe not to kill that part of you completely.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. Yeah, I'm just like this. I don't know why.
But then here's the deal. So this is all about the process of you managing it. You're trying to find out the part where you find the balance of complexity versus stability versus...
Yeah.
And your process of trying on hats. Interesting.
Got a few hats. I think one of my favorite hats right now is I have a fake mustache, and I don't know why I feel way more outgoing and like way more willing to extend my sense of humor when I have the mustache on. And also I feel like everyone's flirting with me when I have the mustache, which might not be true, but the mustache makes me feel that way. And so I flirt with everyone. And I've mostly been wearing it at festivals, but I've considered wearing it just around town because it's a good hat, I think. It makes me feel special. But it'd be good to find some other ones too, I think. I have a bunny hat also. I guess you weren't speaking about literal hats though.
No.
No.
Metaphoric.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got those too.
Okay, now go to town.
What was I saying? I hate slasher films. Like, I like supernatural films where, like, ghosts are fighting humans or humans are fighting aliens or zombies, because I feel like there's a lot more metaphor there for actual things that are going on in humanity and people's actual fears. But slasher films, I feel like, are a symptom of disease of like the mind that we have in our society, of like becoming comfortable with violence and becoming desensitized, especially realistic things. And I don't know, I can't watch it. I find that so disturbing. Yeah. Can't do it. No, I hate iPhones. iPhones are terrible. This is the Galaxy A8, I think. I got it. I smashed my phone on the 1-year anniversary of smashing my last phone. In the same way it fell out of my pocket. That's how they all go. But it's pretty good. It's good to have a phone.
Why do you just got this?
Yeah, and the cases aren't released for it yet. I need to I'm gonna get the most heavy duty case, like one for construction workers. Is basically how I live. So, and also when there's no case, they're so slippery, you'll just slip out of your pocket and fall onto rocks when you're at an outdoor concert. Maybe outdoor concerts are the problem. But also look at my shark purse. I just got it yesterday from Horace and Jasper. I'm very pleased with this.
That is very cool, I must say.
Cool. Yeah, it's got a red mouth. Mm-hmm.
I think that you might be the only one in Calgary with that, or is there?
No, this was actually a prototype. So they're just Horace and Jasper is a local company. I help them do leather work, and we make stuff out of the Crossroads Farmers Market. We do it in the basement, which actually used to be a slaughterhouse. And so I don't know if we're right inside of what used to be an old bloodbath, but I'm pretty sure that cow ghosts watch us work with leather and either cheer us on or try to curse us with their muse. But they are just releasing, my two bosses, Jeffrey and Leanne, they're just releasing this style of bag pretty soon. They're just finishing it up yesterday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a fun job. My room's actually super cool. It's very small though. I got a really small room so that's also why I moved, because now I've reduced rent. Here it's $350.
That is very.
Yeah, I was paying $600 at my last place, but
That's ridiculously cheap.
yeah, my room is super gorgeous. I have all these beautiful scarves and sequined fabrics and everything hanging from the ceiling with Christmas decorations, and painted my room mustard yellow, so it's really nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it's super magical, but it's basically there's a giant bed and art, and there's no room for anything else. I can barely get dressed in there.
Priorities.
Yes.
You've got them right.
Yeah, we do.
I guess we'll just walk
This
down,
way?
or let's walk that way. Do you mind walking across the open plain?
No, I'm good. I'm glad that I'm wearing pants. I guess there's not lots of bugs here, but I definitely was destroyed by bugs at the last festival.
No ticks though, right?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any bites yet.
You're still alive though.
Yeah, I am. I am scared of ticks though, but there's these bugs called no-see-ums. They're really small, and I actually thought they were mosquitoes, but and when they bite you, it's just a very small dot, and then the next day it turns into a big red welt or an oozing sore, because I guess they spit acid on you, on your skin.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know how that helps them drink blood, but they do that, and yeah, my leg was definitely covered in scabs and bruises. They bruised me, so I'm kind of, and they aren't unaffected by bug spray, even the strongest ones. So basically, terrible.
There's zombie bugs or whatever?
I don't know, but it was really bad because I put on so much bug spray and was still eaten alive.
No, I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah.
Black flies are also wicked. They can
I don't know. I'm so grateful I've never been bitten by one.
horse flies are horrible. Wasps.
Yeah.
Bees.
This mosquitoes really like me. My blood's really sweet, but I have not been bitten or stung by anyone else. Mosquitoes and those terrible no-see-ums. But it's kind of making me question whether or not I want to go to the woods again. It's just very stressful, those sorts of things. As well as car trouble. I've had a lot of extreme car trouble and extreme weather at festivals. We once drove, this was last year, I went to Driftpile, Alberta, which is by Slave Lake. And it's about a 6-hour drive, but it took us 18 hours. And on the way there, we stopped briefly to get something checked on the vehicle, maybe more windshield washer fluid, and the mechanic noticed that one of our tires was about to fall off. And we had a trailer attached. We for sure would have flipped if we were going 140 on the highway or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah. And then we went almost through a tornado, which was quite scary. I wasn't listening to the news, so I didn't hear that it was coming, but that was extreme. And while we were at that festival, there was a 2-hour sheet lightning storm, which freaked out a lot of the patrons, as well as some terrible rain and wind, and they had to shut down the festival for a bit. There was a death there.
Oh my god.
Which I also attribute to the extreme weather. I think it affected this person. But yeah, that was quite the trip. I still had a great time despite all that, but I think that was my first festival that I worked at. It was good, but I feel like festivals are a good way to travel a lot within Canada and spend a lot of money. But it'd be nice to leave Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Whereabouts would you go to?
I want to go to New Zealand. Have you been to New Zealand?
No.
I hear it's really nice.
Yeah, Australia is the one I wanted to hit, but I think you're right. New Zealand is kind of like a...
It's a bit safer though. You know, there's like no wild predators or no poisonous bugs, no poisonous snakes. If you go camping, you can just sleep in the dirt with no tent.
Really?
And the birds are really like friendly and unafraid of humans because they don't have natural predators there.
Wow.
The weather's super moderate, but like
We'll just go...
like never gets super hot or super cold.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Is it easy to get a visa passport to go there, or you just get a passport, you're gone?
I think you can just get a passport. If you are 35 or under, you can get a working visa, like a holiday working visa, kind of. That's what my plan is to do. But I have to save up enough money for flights and stuff. I'm sure I think it's like quite expensive there.
How long will you go for?
I would like to go for a couple years, but go there during our winter, which is their summer, and then come back here for our summer and just run away from winter for a couple of years. I really, really dislike winter. I've learned to survive it, but I feel like my entire personality changes and I just don't really feel like I'm living life.
I would agree with you 100% on that.
Mm-hmm.
Can we try a technique?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll walk more in the street.
Okay.
Okay, we'll walk about that speed. I'm going to put the camera more in front of you, and I'm going to walk a little bit like ahead of you like that.
Okay.
It just adds a little bit more flavor.
I'll try to look at the camera. I feel awkward doing it. It's easier for me to look at you.
Yeah, you can look right there.
Right there? Okay.
And
Makes
then
me
you'll
shy
be
for some reason.
You can look right into the eyes of your viewers.
Hello, viewers.
Welcome to vlog number 533.
Vlog 533 in progress. Cheers.
So how come you don't move to Vancouver where the temperature is a bit more moderate, 24?
There's no sun there, and therefore everyone's grumpy. Not everyone, but most people are grumpy because they're all deprived of vitamin D. It's not for me. I'm going to move there for about a month, I think, pretty soon. I'd like to go there just for a bit, but I think long term that would not be a place for me.
I want to walk in the grass.
Yeah.
We have to walk in the grass because when I walk in the gravel, I make too much noise. Well, so do you.
Yeah, it's quite rocky.
I want to go to Vancouver too.
Yeah, you want to live there?
Yeah, but there's more of a film industry there.
That makes sense.
So the film industry is bigger and just more like, I'm thinking more people who would be willing to do this.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, let's walk this way, across. Because the sun is like, I'm
really
scamming the
hot.
light.
You're scamming the light?
Well, because I'm watching the light as it's hitting your face.
Oh.
And it's sort of to your back now.
Yeah, it's like really hot over here.
Your back is on fire?
Yeah, it is. But I'd rather wear this coat than get a sunburn, so
Yes.
priorities.
Yeah, you're no good to me if you're dead.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You could film my decomposition. It probably smells bad, but
And you would probably come back as a ghost, right?
yes.
Some sort
yeah,
of zombie?
that's my plan. Ghost for sure. Been practicing my ghosting skills. Even lately, I have. Oh, the dog.
The dog is super cute.
Yeah. He's having such a good time. Oh, that like such short grass, but he looks like he's swimming in it. Okay. Do you know anything about it? Or you want the
Ketogenics is it's a solid meat diet, protein diet.
No, it's actually moderate protein. It's high fat, low carb. And basically, like, I'm not very good at explaining it, I'm not very sciencey, but your body produces insulin so that you can live off of glucose, which is sugar and carbs. And also your body will convert protein into glucose if there's too much of it, more than it needs anyways. It's very efficient, but it can kind of fuck you up, and a lot of people have insulin resistance, and so they're not even processing their glucose appropriately, and their body just keeps producing more and more insulins, which can cause a lot of issues. But on the ketogenic diet, you cut out all carbs, so you starve your body of glucose, and it stops producing insulin and switches to your liver producing ketones, which makes you live off of fat instead of carbs. So it's a more readily available source of energy because it's on your body anyways. So you can go like 24 hours without eating and you don't have a sugar crash. You don't feel hungry even. So that's really nice. And it actually brings more oxygen to your brain. So for me, that's the main benefit, is having more mental clarity and better memory and less mood swings for sure. Not having that like after work crash and just needing to go to sleep immediately. That's really nice. Just having more sustained energy. But a lot of people go on it for like, because they're epileptic or diabetic or trying to lose weight. But I don't know. I just feel being able to like remember someone's name right after I've learned it, that's like remarkable for me. I've always had issues remembering names and numbers, but I feel like I'm getting better. Like I feel like I almost had symptoms of ADHD before, and now they're kind of calming down and getting better. So that's also too like a product of getting older, I think. But it's been good. I know you're not supposed to do this diet forever though, so eventually I'll have to go off. Oh, here comes a dog.
You're right.
Oh, can you say hi? Hi. Hi, buddy. Are you all wet?
Oh, he is.
Oh, hi. Hi, friend. Hi, you're so wet. Oh, yay. You gotta dry off. Yeah, go in the dirt. That's smart.
That's a nice mix.
Is it? Oh, yeah, watch out. Hey. Hey. Wet and dirty now. Yeah. Uh-oh. No, wait, what are we pontificating about? It's really beautiful here. It smells really nice. Oh, I don't want to say those things. We just saw a snake. We almost stepped on it. It was yellow and green. I think that's a garter snake.
Yeah, I don't think there's any rattlers here. Maybe a bull snake, though.
What's that?
Bull snakes, if they bite you, they can make you sick.
Oh, okay. I don't think we have. Are you sure we have those here?
No, I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think there's just like garden snakes or garters. Are they called garden or garter snakes?
Garter.
Garter, yeah. That's probably like the second snake I've ever seen out in the wild.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though you spend so much time at like in the festivals and whatnot?
Yeah, I don't think the snakes would be there though, because the music is so loud. The bass is, I think, somewhat disruptive to the animals, so they flee the area. Like the bass is so heavy that even if you're like half a mile away, the ground is still shaking.
Yeah, that would do it.
It's really hardcore. It's good though, it scares the bugs away, which I like. Strangely enough, birds can be fine with it. I've seen a lot of birds still hanging out near the stages, but bugs get disoriented and then they can't eat me, which I like. But I've never seen... Yeah, and there's so many people, like, if there's 5,000 people there, most animals are probably gonna hide a bit. The largest festival I've been to had 50,000 people. It's a lot. It's kind of overwhelming. But I like the smaller ones. Like I went to one that had about 400. That was pretty nice. You would see the same person again and again and just get to know them and have a relationship. And it felt very like cozy, like just hanging out in someone's living room, which I liked. Very safe too.
What festival do you recommend the most?
I think I'd recommend that one, Vibrant or Frog Fest. Those ones were both smaller. And Vibrant's more of electronic music, and it was in Imbue. Such a lovely time, so chill. There wasn't very many bugs, and the whole festival took place on a ridge above a slow-moving river. It was so beautiful, and you could like look over the valley into the mountains. They even set up couches on the edge of the ridge so you could just sit and have nice conversations. Ooh, a butterfly. And then Frog Fest, where was that? That was in Rocky Mountain House. And that was quite nice. That actually had like probably the best sound of any festival. You could be pretty far away from the stage in your tent, and the sound was perfectly clear. It was so wonderful. And instead of having like gravel pathways to walk upon, they'd put a tree mulch. So it was like walking on pillows. Like you could walk barefoot if you wanted, I think. I chose not to, but it's pretty cool. And at that one, there was families allowed, so it's always nice to have kids around. And that one was more like psychedelic rock and blues, and a bit of electronic, but more like rock and roll and like folksy. Yeah, totally different vibe. But A+ can be like really overwhelming. I'm not a night person, so at night I'll get lost in the dark and can't find my camp. Ah, mosquito. It's trying to eat me. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm supposed to go to another big one soon, but we'll see. Lots of bugs. Lots and lots of bugs. Lots of friends too, but sometimes it's a bit much. That's a scary looking bug.